plain text emails versus pretty looking HTML emails. Which out of the two actually gives you better results, better deliverability for your email marketing campaigns? Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you the pros and the cons of the two and which one I actually suggest you use. Hi, my name is Aurelius, and on this channel I make videos on how to start and grow a digital product business. So if you're new to this channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button below and turn on notifications too, so that you'll be the first to know of any tips, training and tutorials that I post up here on this channel. Before I move on, I just want to share the differences between a plain text email and a HTML email. So firstly, a plain text email is something that you would actually receive from, let's say, a friend or colleague, and something that sounds personal, right? On the other hand, you've got HTML emails, which includes banners, images, buttons, and all sorts of things that make it look more fancier and perhaps more eye-catching. So again, towards the end of this video, I do want to share my recommendation in terms of whether you should send a plain email or a HTML email, so stay tuned. I'm going to go through kind of the pros and cons and the advantages of each and disadvantages of each, so that you can make a decision at the end of the day to determine, what types of emails you should send. Okay, with plain text emails, the biggest advantage that I see is that it looks personal, right? If you were to receive a message from a friend of yours, a family member perhaps, or a colleague, it looks personal. It's just for you. So when a subscriber sees your email, it is in plain text, and this immediately triggers them to think, oh, this is an email just for me. It's directly for me. And that is kind of what you want to do. Now, the second biggest, or perhaps on par with the first benefit, is that deliverability is a lot higher by just sending plain text, since it doesn't have any additional code or HTML code or images and lots of links and things like that. And there's fewer distractions. So there's no header, logo, buttons, and things like that. There's simply just that plain text and any other links that you put within your email. Thirdly, it's faster and easier to create plain text emails because you don't need to worry about putting images and making things look fancy. Now, onto the cons. What I see as the biggest disadvantage is that you're unable to track clicks, open rates, and all types of metrics that will be helpful in terms of return on investment and whether your emails are actually making money or getting subscribers to engage in your content, whatever it may be. Now, the second disadvantage is because you're dealing with plain text emails, you're limited in terms of design. So it is an advantage at the same time, which I explained, and because there's less distractions. At the same time, you want to also make things eye-popping or appealing or something of that nature, and you can't do that with plain text emails. Now let's move on to HTML emails, or in other words, pretty emails. Now, the biggest advantage that I see with HTML emails is the ability to track and test all sorts of things. So if you do sell products and services, then you definitely want to enable HTML emails. But there is a fine line between, putting all these images, and which can be also a distraction, and that is a con. So with HTML emails, you need to be mindful in terms of what email copy you put on, what images you put on, what calls to action you put in your email, and all sorts of things like that. Another advantage of HTML emails is the ability to stay consistent with your branding. So if you do want to stay consistent with your brand colors and logo and things like that, then HTML emails is definitely something that you need to consider. Now, on the contrary, the cons of HTML emails is that it may take longer to load, and that's not the biggest con, but that's just one of the disadvantages. The second biggest disadvantage is that naturally HTML emails look more commercial, and the look and feel of an email is just one thing, but in terms of deliverability, mail servers actually look at these signals and whether there's quite a lot of code, and if it's a bit messy, there's quite a lot of links and things that has to load, and that does play a factor in terms of deliverability. Okay, with that said, what I want to do now is share my recommendation to you and whether you should use plain text or HTML. My answer is to use a hybrid. So what you're going to do is create your emails that look plain and personal. However, you're going to integrate HTML in a way that where you're going to hyperlink certain text, and you're going to enable tracking of links and opens. So you're going to get a bit of both worlds where your emails look personal, but at the same time, you're able to test, track, and monitor your emails, the engagement, the opens, the clicks, and all sorts of things like that. Now, of course, at the end of the day, this is personal preference. If you are, let's say, a e-commerce store and you're selling purely products and you want to display it in your emails, then, these personal emails may not be for you. But if you are trying to write to kind of one person, then that kind of format will work better. And ultimately, writing high converting emails goes back to email marketing 101, where you need to write clear and concise, have strong calls to action in place, less distractions, more white space. And there's quite a lot of email marketing best practice that you should follow so that your emails don't end up in spam. All right, so there we go. I hope this video has given you a bit more confidence in terms of knowing whether to use plain text or HTML. And as I said, I personally use a hybrid and that works quite well for me. At the end of the day, you should still test and track your email campaigns. Over to you. Do you use plain text emails, HTML emails, or a hybrid? Let me know in the comments field. I'd love to know. If you have any questions about this subject, feel free to comment below this video. And if you got value from this video, by all means, hit that like button. And if you're not subscribed to this channel yet, subscribe, turn on notifications too, so that you don't miss out on any tips, training, and tutorials that I post up here on this channel. In the meantime, be sure to watch these next relevant videos right here.